Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're looking at player props here on Tuesday night in the NBA playoffs as we've got two games rolling along. We also have a best bets video up, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along as we will continue to bring you these videos throughout this postseason. Also want you to head to thelines.com. You can check out all of the great written content we're putting up on the site right now and use that odds finder tool to make sure that you are getting the best odds available to you from all of these books giving us bets this postseason. We are recording this on Monday to get ahead of Tuesday night's slate. So we don't yet know how we did in those matchups between the Knicks and Heat and the Warriors and the Lakers. But we'll get back to you on that stuff and move right along into your first NBA player prop for Tuesday night, Nate.
Yeah, I'm going with Papa Al, and we mentioned that he let us down last time we took him, but in the last two games, he's been the matchup, basically mirroring Joel Embiid's minutes for the Celtics. He's played nearly 35 minutes a game, averaged 13.5 points and 7 rebounds. So to take over 15.5 points rebounds seems like pretty good odds at even money here at FanDuel. He also has 4.5 stocks in those games, including 5 blocks last game. I don't know how much you want to chase those. Just throw out that for him to get 3 stocks plus 120. And he came out clutch on the D against the B. The point is, like, he's a much better matchup than Rob Williams at this point. And also Rob Williams probably got hurt at some point. That is not really like specifically mentioned, but took a hard fall. Game 3, I believe. And he's only played 15 minutes per game the last 2 here. So, not really splitting too many minutes with Horford, who, now we come home as we see series kind of wear on. Papa Al does bring it at home in the playoffs with the Celtics. He averages 10 points and 9.2 boards at home. Also 3.5 assists if you want to combine the rebounds and assists instead. Won't hate you for it. But in this series, he's scoring more. 11 points per game, including 7 for 14 from 3 in the last 2, because the Celtics understand that they need to draw Embiid away from the basket. They need to get Horford out there, get him looks, put him in pick and roll action so they can wear Embiid down by forcing him to guard and speeding up the pace of the game. And Horford, his fountain of youth, he doesn't get tired, even at age 37, 38. He can run around Embiid, and that's why he was able to kind of win that matchup down the stretch, set up the Celtics for what looked like a win, and all sorts of things happened that made that not happen. But we were not concentrating on that here. We were talking about player props and Papa Al, getting us some points and boards.
Yeah, I'm with it. We're definitely don't have time to get into the end of that game and Harden's 42 and whatever else you want to talk about. But I'm fine with it. The one time that I tried to take him with the points and the threes, he went 1 for 8 from deep. But the point is like he's getting them up, and he's going to continue to get him up in the minutes that he plays. Everybody is, if they're on the floor for long enough. And he is, because of what he brings to the defensive side, as we know, especially now as the main big man, if Rob Will is either limited or not able to play in game 5 there. So I'm going to move on to another Celtic here and go back to Malcolm Brogdon, because they don't raise his props. I mean, I guess it's gone up a point kind of from the 13.5 that it was kind of mostly at, but now it's gone up even more because it's Malcolm Brogdon's done that even more so and gone over 14.5 points in every game in this series versus the 76ers. I really, it's minus 111 on FanDuel for the points. Like, I'm kind of in the boat of like, might as well take the points, rebounds, and assists as well because of the minutes that he's getting and when he's getting them. It's minus 115. It's basically the same odds there for him to get the 22 points, rebounds, and assists. He's hit both of these props in 6 of his 8 playoff games. If you want to just kind of throw out the first one where he played 21 minutes and they didn't realize that he needed to play close to 30 like he has been, then we can go ahead and do that and say he's hit it in 6 of his last 7. But, he wasn't getting the same run at that time. Not only that, but like his usage rate was not even close to what it is now. Actually, in this series, it's higher than it was in the Hawks series. He's at 25.3% usage rate in this series here. He's playing more than 10 minutes a game in the fourth quarter. Obviously, there's been one fourth quarter where like Peyton Pritchard played the entirety of it. So, that was one where they didn't need the starters as much. But only Tatum is averaging more time in the fourth quarter than him at this point, closer to 11 plus minutes there. But, he is what we like to say, the adult in the room. And to a degree, like it's because of Derek White. Like Derek White's done fine. He's made some threes when he's been called upon to do that within the flow of the offense. And he's played good defense on Tyrese Maxey, but like Malcolm Brogdon's played just as, if not better defense on Tyrese Maxey in the minutes that he's been out there. And so he's trusted more. Also only one turnover compared to his 3 assists per game in this series. So like I said, you know that you have someone trustworthy at the end of games. He's shooting 90% from the free throw line, including 46% from the field, 53% from deep, where he's just been absolutely on fuego this season. And it's all of that sort of sturdiness that he brings that just makes you go, okay, he's going to get in there and have the minutes. Like he's going to be the guard. Marcus Smart might be in there. And now without Rob Will, there's nothing wrong with Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon on the floor at the same time, especially because that way you have someone to maybe be a little bit more of like a temper, someone who can temper Marcus Smart at the end of games, and he'll be trusted to have the ball in his hands, as Mazzulla will be hopefully making it clear, like this is the guy who gets the ball when we need to set things up. And that's just that time and amount that he's been on there, plus having like the second best plus minus, or excuse me, third best after the Jays, who have the 2 best plus minuses on the team in the playoffs. But he's got right after that because of what he brings to the floor. So you look hesitant because of maybe your lack of trust in Marcus Smart's ability to make the right play?
No, I'm just laughing at the like paint by numbers like bulletin board. Like Marcus, these guys are better at scoring than you, so you let them close the game, right? Because Brogdon's playing in the fourth quarter. That's the key here. You outlined that perfectly. Derek White is the odd man out in that crowded rotation right now because Maxey can actually guard him okay. Maxey has no chance against Brogdon. Yeah. Brogdon's just too strong going to the basket, too decisive. And he could just blow by Harden or bully Maxey. Yep. And then he's getting open threes because, like you said, everybody in the Celtics scheme is, and he's money. He's a former 50, 40, 90 guy, and he's shooting over 50 from deep in this series. So I would have taken Brogdon if you had not beat me to it.
I know.
But last time in game 3, I wanted you to take Marcus Smart, the leader of the irrational confidence team, to have more field goals than Tobias Harris. And it hit again. So I'm going back to that well. It's still only minus 105 because Tobias Harris just doesn't get the ball, first and foremost. He's the 4th option on this team, and Marcus Smart thinks he's the 1B option or something on the Celtics. So he's getting up at least 15 shots a game. Mazzulla has rewarded him by playing him 39 minutes in the last 2 games. He's averaging 18 points in that span. And so, I mean, in this entire series, he gets the ball 56.5 touches per game. Tobias is under 40 touches. He's shot the ball 16 times more than Tobias in the last 3 meetings here. His usage rate is 23% versus Tobias at 16%. And if you just look at like how often do I actually get the ball, he's receiving 47 passes per game, which is twice as many as Tobias Harris gets, just 23. Which is how a guy like Tobias gets only 3 made field goals when he plays 45 minutes. I mean, he's trying to guard Tatum on the other end. He needs to be out there for sure. But Smart's going to be out there. I mean, it was clearly a critical error to put him on Harden instead of Jaylen Brown, who had done such a great job the previous 2 games. But Smart will be out there one way or another, probably guarding Maxey more as they adjust. But yeah, if Derek White's the odd man out, Smart's going to be out there, and he is apparently going to take 15 shots a game, which gives him a much better chance of making at least a third of them, which is, by the way, like all he's made the last 3, but that's still more than Tobias Harris, who has a minimal usage rate.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the field goals made is big. Like Tobias doesn't get that many shots. He has to hit a very high percentage to the points that, just to add to the same points that you're making here, for him to have more field goals than a guy who gets to shoot more in the offense that they have. Like at this point, I was thinking about it, and it's like, it's almost like the Sixers have to have Harden and Embiid go off to win at this point. And it's not just, I mean, that sounds like an obvious thing to say, but it's more than just that they're the 2 best players and have the highest usage rates. It's that they have the highest usage rates and they're not passing the ball to other guys for them to have an opportunity to score. If you look at the field goal attempts, look, Maxey finds a way to get his because at times he's the only guy who has any kind of speed to his game. So they really look for him to lead that transition and fast break and really like just get ahead of the Celtics defense as the only guy who can beat some of the Celtics, who are all fast and all except for Papa Al and all fleet of foot basically at this point. Like, he's the only one who can get past them before they can set up their defense. So, maybe he can still get some field goal attempts. But the main point about Tobias is like, he can't, because his whole role is go stand in the corner. And if he gets a defensive rebound, it's definitely not bring the ball up the court. It's go stand in the corner. And even, when Embiid was not in there, we saw him take a bigger role, obviously, but that's also because James Harden had to come off the floor at some point, and that left him open to shoot shots. But he is not allowed. There's no green light at this point unless it's within the flow of the offense, and standing in the corner is just not a good place to get yourself involved very often. So I was thinking about all the Tobias Harris stuff just so that we're 1-to-1 here in terms of, like, I really would have taken Tobias first as well if I hadn't seen your Marcus Smart bet, but I'm with it entirely. So I'm going to finish things off here with Nikola Jokic, specifically assists. And as long as he doesn't shove any team owners in this next game, he should be able to play a solid 43, 44 minutes. I don't think anybody really cares about that Matt Ishbia story. Moving past it, you get a plus 112 for him to get 10 assists on FanDuel. It's interesting because that's actually gone up. If you look at what the closing number was for him in his past 10 games, it got down to 7.5 assists for him at the, during the sort of Minnesota series where it was coming off at the end of the season and he wasn't trying that much. But when Nikola's trying, his assists appear to be just as relevant in terms of what would be considered a more effort-based stat in rebounds. His effort-based stat seems to be assists. And I base that on the fact that, when it comes down to a game that matters for him and for the Nuggets, that he's going to have the ball in his hands no matter what. There's not going to be a possession that when he's on the floor that he's either not bringing it up or he's not the first one to receive it, within the flow of the offense that they run at that point, which has been a ton of two-man game with him and Murray. And that two-man game with he and Murray is the reason that he was able to get so open, and not really receive too many double teams in that last game, because they ran the motion offense so early. Basically, they didn't wait for things to pan out. They just came down, got in the set right away before that anybody could really set up. And then he and Murray are playing two-man game pick and roll before other guys even know how to get over there and get on them. There's going to be some a ton of corrections made by Monty Williams in this game, because after watching him score 53 points, it'd be criminal if you let him get that many shots without at least 2 to 3 guys around him. You might use all of that to say, let me pick a Jamal Murray game. Fine, I'm fine with that. Let me pick even a Contavious Caldwell Pope or Aaron Gordon game is the other guy I want to say. I'm kind of over MPJ in this series. It's just not good for him against the Suns. It never has been. Even though they don't have Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, he's still not doing so great against this team in this series either. So if any of those guys I'm fine with, but the assists are all there because of Jokic, and them getting open is because of Jokic. And so I do believe in if there's going to be almost 3 guys, if not always 2, if not 3 guys on Joker, then the lanes are going to be wide open for guys to cut. I don't want to have to figure out who that's going to be. I just know he's going to be the one sort of passing them the ball there.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 14 assists per game in the last 2, and that's with very few double teams, to your point. I think the Suns, I mean, you can't just double him, though. You're toast if you do that. I don't know what the adjustment's going to be. But I am kind of interested in this. Aside from the best bet I mentioned, where I think he's going to have 2 more dimes than Booker. So clearly I do agree with you to an extent. I just think, maybe that's a little more wiggle room.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Jokic under 8.5 points in the first quarter because of this, which, is a number he hovers right around. But I don't know if he's going to come out looking to score that much after getting 53. I think it's, that's not necessarily his MO or how the Nuggets are going to win, is give us 40, give us 50. I think he's going to get everybody else involved early and maybe only take 3 to 5 field goals in the first quarter, which means, it might be a sweat, but it's interesting. It's plus 105 to go under 8.5 points at DK. So I'll just throw that one out there as well.
Yeah, I'm fine with the logic that we're both kind of using. That one seems a little bit more risky just to go for it. But yeah, I would imagine that he comes out looking to pass as well. It's also I don't know, man. I think he just also reads the defense, to be honest, because if he can score with that level of consistency, he's going to make you double team him. But I don't know what else he would have to do to prove to Monty Williams, I will score. every time if I have to. And it'll be a barrage of footwork that DeAndre Ayton's soft butt wishes he had to go along with his soft game. But I digress. Let's finish things up here, Nate, with our play up props video, as that's all the time that we have. I don't want DeAndre Ayton to continue catching strays. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Check out the best bets video that we do have up for you as well. And until we see you next, happy betting.